Last chapter we had gotten into the endocrine system, and towards the end we had looked at the gonads, the testes in males, and the ovaries in females. Now we briefly touched on what those were and what they did, but for this chapter we're going to take a deeper look into the reproductive systems of both males and females. Some things that we need to accomplish from this chapter: we need to understand the anatomy of both the male and female reproductive systems. We're going to know the function of each of the structures found in each reproductive system. We're going to look at sperm, the hormones that play a role in the male, and then we'll look at the ovarian and the uterine cycles within the female. We'll also discuss how levels of hormones change during the ovarian and uterine cycles, and then look at fertilization and implantation, as well as common and not so common disorders of reproductive systems. We'll also look into birth control methods and infertility, and what options a person has if they are infertile, as well as whether or not to treat infertility. We'll look into several STIs and /STDs and how they can be treated, and what birth control methods can prevent those. So if we remember from a while back, we had learned about body cells or somatic cells and sex cells. We learned about this when we looked into meiosis. If we do a quick review, body cells are cells you find almost anywhere in your body. The cells that make up your skin, your muscles, your bones, those are all body cells. And each of those body cells has 46 chromosomes set up in 23 pairs within its nucleus. We call this a diploid cell, or 2N, since it has two complete sets of chromosomes. One set which came from mom, and the other set that came from dad. Sex cells, on the other hand, only have one single set. We call these gametes. So they only have 23 chromosomes, one of each instead of pairs. So we call this haploid, or N, meaning one set of chromosomes there. Since these only have one set of chromosomes, two gametes have to come together to create a new individual. We call that process fertilization, where a sperm and egg come together to form a zygote. When the zygote forms, that chromosome number goes back to 46 and is back to diploid, since the sperm has one set and the egg has one set, and so when they come together, we have two complete sets of chromosomes. Several chapters ago, we learned about mitosis and meiosis. Again, let's do a quick recap of those processes. Remember that both mitosis and meiosis are processes used to replicate cells, to create more cells. So mitosis is the process that's going to be used by the body cells, the cells that we find in our skin and our muscles and bones. This is a duplication division because the cell is making an exact duplicate of itself. It's basically cloning itself. And this process is great for when you need to grow or repair any damage. Meiosis was our reduction division process, and this was used by cells that were creating eggs or sperm. Since eggs and sperm have half of the number of chromosomes, we have to reduce the number of chromosomes in them, since the starting cell has all 46. Meiosis is the process that will take us from that 46 in the original cell down to 23 in each daughter cell. If you don't remember mitosis or meiosis, I would recommend looking back at that chapter and reviewing it briefly. So here we see the human life cycle. We have these two adults, male and female. They are both 2N, meaning the majority of their cells are going to be diploid. They form gametes, like this egg and the sperm. They form gametes through the process of meiosis, and each of these gametes, if we notice, is only N. We've gone from 2N to N only. When fertilization occurs, an egg and sperm have come together and fused. Since each one has its own set, when we fuse through the process of fertilization, we're back to 2N as a zygote. This zygote will then use mitosis to allow our organism, our individual, to grow and develop properly. So through that process of mitosis, many times, we end up with a small individual. And then through even more mitosis, we end up developing into an adult. And the process continues.